Decentralized Pictures Talent Cast. I am your host, Matt, and in studio today we have Varina Shaughnessy, creative producer at Fujifilm. So good to see you, Varina.
It's good to see you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. And so an awesome award to talk about today. But before we jump into that new Fujifilm award, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Fujifilm.
Yeah, my background is actually more in is storytelling and documentary storytelling for brands, which is how a few years ago I got connected with Victor Ha, who's the VP at Fujifilm. And he brought me on to help with another team for some different projects, and that eventually led to helping them as their creative producer across all their projects. So my love is people and their stories and helping to construct those stories and tell them in the strongest way possible. So I work with all of our creators. I work with our photographers, our filmmakers, and they work with the amazing team on the Fujifilm side with their production team, their designers, marketing team, and all that to bring the campaigns to life that we do. So it's a pretty fun job.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. So it's so much fun. Good stuff. All right. So before we jump into the award, I think that you just got back from a small film festival called Sundance.
Yep.
And so you were hanging out in Park City, Utah, beautiful Park City, Utah. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah. Well, it was my first dance. So
okay.
That was quite the experience. And for anyone who's gone, especially going in as someone who's kind of representing a brand in some ways, as well as a creative and director as well. It was a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. But it was also just such an incredible celebration of this industry and the community that surround it. It's not been an easy year for filmmakers at all in any way possible. And I felt like there was some really good, deep conversations that I got to have with some DPs and some directors who we know already, and then those who we are trying to get to know more so. And it was encouraging to hear that they're excited about this year. They're excited about projects being made. And I'm just hoping it's we're going uphill in a good way after going kind of being in a slump in the last few months. But Sundance was awesome. I'm still exhausted.
Yeah, it's nonstop. I've been a couple times myself, and it's just like, and you have this kind of feeling of FOMO because there's so much going on, and you don't want to miss any of the big events. But guess what? There's like big events happening, simultaneously all across Park City. So, but yeah, it's an amazing experience. Absolutely. So we're going to jump into the award here in just a second, but I'm curious about conversations that you may have had with other filmmakers at Sundance that are kind of what we're doing here, with Decentralized Pictures partnering with Fujifilm, democratizing the way that kind of the filmmaking, the selection process is made on who's going to potentially win this award. Did you have conversations with folks about kind of like that Film 3 type filmmaking experience?
A little bit. So a lot of the conversations that I have and just in what I do as a role is asking people like, what are you excited about? What are you creating? And it always does come down to like funding.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's everyone's struggle of where do you pull in the money to make these stories come to life. So that conversation happened a lot. And I think what I'm excited about is some of the conversations I had where people are trying to go the non-traditional route to get there's films and their stories out there, and just hearing how that's working for some people, different pathways people are taking. And it gets me excited about this award because this is kind of a non-traditional path, and it's also a community building path. And that's two things that I love, that Fujifilm loves, and we get to be right there in the middle of it with DCP. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, tell us about how DCP and Fujifilm kind of initially made that connection. How did you build that relationship to a point of maturity where you were ready to create an award on the platform?
I mean, I was joking with you about this earlier that I feel like all Fujifilm, great projects at Fujifilm, all the stories all start with like, so we were in a bar, which just sounds like we're a whole bunch of alcoholics, but we just love connecting with our filmmakers and our creatives. So oftentimes we'll go to events and then be like, want to grab dinner with us afterwards? And that turns into a long night of talking about stories. This one though didn't. I have confirmed it did not start there.
Oh.
It started with friends. Victor Ha, the VP at Fujifilm, is friends with Vincent Lafayette. And Vincent was like, hey, you need to meet these people and talk. And so I hopped on the phone with Yolanda Hosky, who's on our team, and a few others just to hear, like, what is DCP doing? To be completely honest, the first time I hopped on, I was like, what? Like 3 times. And they had to walk me through everything that goes on. And I was like, this is phenomenal because it targets both the experienced filmmaker as well as the up and coming filmmaker. And I work with students a lot in different nonprofits as part of my job. And that's just my personal passion, is bringing up that next generation of image makers. And this is an opportunity for kind of all the above. It's an opportunity for image, that next like the Gen Zers and everyone that are coming up. It's a really great opportunity to get feedback on their projects at a stage in your career where you don't always get that. So yeah, we were super excited. And it was like, all right, how can we target that group and get their stories out there, and also like have a platform where we can kind of keep an eye on stories, because we work with them. We work with photographers and filmmakers all the time and bringing their stories to life as well.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thanks for giving us that background. So let's jump in to the award, the Fujifilm Aspiring Filmmakers Award. I'm so stoked. This is an amazing opportunity for filmmakers. So tell us about the mechanics of the award. How does it work? I think it's a multi-phase award. Walk us through that. And then what kind of filmmakers should think about submitting to this award?
Yeah. Well, it's for, as the award says, aspiring filmmakers. So I would say that that's anyone from, I mean, I've worked with people who picked up a camera 6 months ago and they're creating amazing work. So I hate putting like dates on anything anymore, but
I'm so jealous of those people. How do they?
I know. I am like, that was not me. I did the really good photos
either.
of like, you figured out rule of third and you have a flower in the rule of third and you're like out in your backyard on your knees. That was me 6 months into learning filmmaking. Did some really great push. I don't even know if it was pushing. It was probably just shaky shots of flowers. But anyways, this is for the aspiring filmmaker that is crafting stories, that wants to get noticed, that wants feedback from the community, and really anyone, I think, who wants experience pitching, because that's a lot of this award, is learning how to package your ideas, which is a really important role in the industry. I receive pitches on a daily basis and review probably at least 10 to 15 pitches probably a week. And there's a really good way to do it, and there's a really not good way to do it, which we should circle back and talk about that just as a if anyone's listening, you'll get some gold nuggets in this. But yeah, so we're doing, this award is a multiple phase process. There's 4 quarters, if you will, for this award. Each quarter has a theme, and you can submit to each of the quarters. If you miss the first one or you don't get selected in the first one, you can always go into the second. But we are going to be doing, and correct me if I think I'm remembering this right, we're doing 3 winners per quarter for their story.
That's correct.
Okay, right. So you like pitch the story for Q1, which the first one is, the theme is all about place. It's stories about physical spaces, places that have memories or emotions for you. Make a story about that, right? Whether that's a documentary or a narrative, pitch that story. And then that first quarter, we'll have 3 winners. And those 3 winners will receive a camera package up to $2,500 from Fujifilm, which is a huge win. And then they will, at the end of this whole award, I think we'll have 12 winners across. It was 4 quarters, 3 winners. I didn't do great in math in high school, but I think that's 12. And those,
yep.
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
Yep.
We're good. The winners there who receive the camera then get a chance to update their pitch and resubmit it. And I think Fujifilm will then be Fujifilm and DCP will then be picking one of those winners to do some additional promotion. And I think do more with their film, if I'm remembering correctly on that.
Yeah. So what I read in phase 2 from all the 12 finalists, or the winners, the 12 winners from the previous round, there'll be uh, 3 finalists selected on the platform. It goes on the platform using the decentralized, democratizing the selection process with participants on Decentralized Pictures selecting the 3 finalists, and then there'll be 1 winner that receives $5,000. And the camera package, the money's great, but even taking it a step further, where there's promotional opportunities, the opportunity to work with an organization like Fujifilm, like Decentralized Pictures, I just think that's the real magic that's happening on this platform. It's not just, I mean, money's great, equipment's great. I mean, that's all amazing stuff, but be able to take your work even a step further with promotional opportunities, it's truly spectacular.
There's also something to be said about working with a brand. I mean, just coming back from Sundance, there was a whole separate event kind of happening in parallel with Sundance called Brand Storytelling. And I headed over there for a few days and got to hear, we got to just speak with some of these filmmakers and production companies who are working directly with brands, such as like Fujifilm, I mean, Nike, like North Face, all these brands are starting to tell scripted and non-scripted stories that are phenomenal. It's a whole market. And so winning an award like this, you get to come in and work with Fujifilm. And like, I can't not give feedback on things. I have opinions about lots of things. So you're going to get experience of getting feedback from a brand, and learning kind of what's important to a brand, what's, and when they're doing marketing and they need deliverables from you, what are they asking for? And that we welcome questions. We want to help you get to the next step of your career. So whoever wins this, make the most of it. And I look forward to talking with you.
Awesome. Incredible opportunity. So for any aspiring filmmaker that's watching this, go. It's on Decentralized Pictures, Decentralized.Pictures website. Check it out. Submit today. It's going to be exciting to see who emerges as the ultimate winner. Okay, so before I forget, before we close, tell us about pitching, the right and wrong way to pitch.
Yes. Okay, so whether you're doing this for this award or you're looking at emailing a brand, the one really important thing to remember is that whoever's looking at this doesn't have time. So it's all about executive communication, but it's so important. It's so missed. Log lines are not just important for pitching a story. Oh, and let me define a log line for anyone who doesn't know. Log line is your story summed up in 1 to 2 sentences. Google log lines. And there's some great resources out there on how to write a good log line, but you really should have the character and the main conflict and where this story is going in that log line, so that when that pitch hits my inbox or we see that pitch on DCP, we go like, what's the story about? Boom, got it. Okay. And that logline then hopefully hooks us in to go in and want to read a synopsis, which is more of a 3 to 8 sentence synopsis of your story. Those 2 things are so important, because I think people think that I'm going to be able to read like 6 paragraphs in an email, and I see that and I'm like, we're done. I can't. but understanding like what is the story about is so key. And then the next thing there is going like, what's the genre? What is this going to be? Scripted, non-scripted? Is this a short? Is this a feature? Making sure that's super clear, because then I'm kind of going through the folders in my brain, go like, great, this goes in the short category. We need shorts. What is this? And then kind of going in there. But story-wise, this would be my pro tip for everyone who's about to pitch is, for your strong story, make sure you have a strong character and a really strong conflict. Those 2 things, if without those, you don't really have a story. You need that character to be someone that we can relate to in somehow, that's unique somehow, and that has a really strong desire, a character that wants something, character that's gonna go for it. And that's the story that we see, is that character going through that and changing along the way. Without that, it's hard to have a story. But that's those are I'm like, I could talk about this all day long, as I love pitching, but sum up your story. You can always do elevator pitches with your friends and be like, let me tell this story to you in 1 sentence really quick, and is it good? And if they are bored, go back and workshop that story again before you throw it up on on this contest. And yeah, ask even feedback in the audience in this contest what it is, but name that story, name that character and the conflict, what stands in their way of that strong desire that they have. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes in.
Absolutely. So hopefully everybody, before they submit, they see this, it's because they got even an added bonus in this interview, got educated on the award, but also some pro tips on how to make your pitch even more powerful. So good stuff, Varina. Thank you so much. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate your time, joining the Decentralized Pictures Talent Cast. And this is an awesome award from Fujifilm, the Aspiring Filmmakers Award. Can't wait to see the submissions that come in. And yeah, great to have you here.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Take care. Bye now.